Welcome to Home Remodeler Toolbox, the podcast dedicated to empowering remodelers and builders to build and grow successful businesses. Join your host, Bob Vance, founder of Home Remodeler SEO, as he brings you industry insights and strategies that will help you build a thriving business, no matter what level you're at in your business. Whether you're a thriving multi-million-dollar business or you're working on building your business from the foundation up, this podcast is your go-to source for industry secrets and actionable strategies that you can implement in your business to get to that next level. So, turn on, tune in, and let's help you build your business foundation one building block at a time.
Today, I'm joined by someone who truly understands what it takes to build a business that's both scalable and deeply human. David Michelson, partner at Alair Homes Decatur and regional partner for North Georgia. David brings a clarity and strategic mindset that every remodeler needs to hear. In this episode, he opens up about why he and his brother chose the Alair Homes franchise model as their long-term exit strategy and how that decision transformed the way they grow, lead, and serve clients. He breaks down the power of Alair's systems and processes, the transparency behind their two-agreement approach, and why investing in relationships with architects and designers is the backbone of high-quality referrals. You're going to walk away with new ideas and a new respect for what thoughtful structure can do for a remodeling business. Let's get into it. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Home Remodeler Toolbox Podcast today. Today we've got David Michelson on. David, how are you doing?
Great, Bob. Good to see you. Good to see you today.
Yeah, absolutely. Really looking forward to having you on, sharing some of the insights about your trajectory and your career path there at Alair Homes Decatur. I guess why don't you start off by telling us how you got started in the business and then kind of how you have bought into the Alair Homes franchise.
Absolutely. Our family history in building goes all the way back to 1896 in Boston. Great-great-grandfather started a company, and it was around until 2005 or 6. Ended up being 4 generations working there. A lot of industrial, commercial, institutional building. In 2001, I moved down from Boston to Atlanta to join my brother, Peter, who had started Renewal Construction, and I joined him as a full partner. And then we transformed that company into Renewal Design Build. And then subsequently, around 2018, we became Alair Homes Decatur. So it was kind of the journey that we followed for our business down here.
Okay. And so I guess what took you from Renewal Homes and your own company and then how did you align yourself with Alair Homes?
That's a great question. So for many years, Peter and I were thinking about our exit strategy. How do we kind of get out of this business, which is really difficult for a lot of builders, a lot of remodelers and home builders. So we have been looking into the idea of how do we exit without it being us? A lot of companies, when they exit, so if you're not there, what do you really have? What am I really buying? So when Alair approached us in 2018, we kind of kicked the tires, talked to a lot of other partners and said, this would be a really good way for exit strategy for both of us to help us monetize our life's work. In fact, a little over a year ago, we sold the majority interest of our Alair Homes Decatur to our partner, Heather Schuster. So she's now majority owner of the company. So it was really the plan that Peter and I really wanted to do, and it worked out really well.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned exit strategy. Being in this business for so long, I see a lot of guys that don't really have that exit strategy. Like you said, if they're not there, what is their value to the company? And I guess why do you think not many guys are really thinking about the exit strategy ahead of time?
It's a great question. And I don't know if people really understand how difficult it is to exit from a business. And it takes a lot of planning.
Yeah.
Perhaps a lot of people think there's that employee who's going to walk in and just stroke you the check and say, great, thanks. I really enjoyed being here. And now I want to take over the company. It's not that easy. I think the majority of the companies, the owner finishes their last job, they turn out the lights and said, it's been a career, and that's it. But it does take planning. What I think, what really attracted us to Alair was not only the opportunity for an exit strategy, but also for growth and scale. You're buying into a franchise. Alair is the largest custom home remodeling franchise in North America. There's 105 offices in the US and Canada right now.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and the other thing it offers, because a franchise system, it offers opportunities for your employees. So there are a lot of project managers who have an opportunity to buy into ownership, and that's happened across many of their offices. Typically, you hire a project manager, someone to come work for you, or it could be an admin support person. You train them 3-4 years, and they're like, "Hey, Dave, thanks. I've really enjoyed working for you. Now I'm going to go down the street. Thanks for all your training and be your competition." In kind of
Right.
our Alair model, it's like, maybe I'd like to open a second office and have you, Bob, for instance, be my general manager, or give you an ownership stake in the company. And that happens a lot within Alair. So there's an opportunity. There is no, as we say, glass ceiling for folks. There's just increased opportunity. So that's a little bit different as well. And when you leave, it's not like you've left because you're not there anymore and there is no value. The value are the systems and processes that come with the franchise.
Right. It's basically a turnkey operation that your project
Yes,
manager could buy into, a partner can buy into.
correct.
Whereas, like you said, they train someone and then they think they can, go out on their own. And then they realize that, it's more than running a business is more than just the trade, being able to hang a shingle or,
Yeah, and I think that's interesting too, Bob, in that a lot of people we call accidental entrepreneurs. I might be a really good carpenter, a really good electrician, but I might not have the business acumen. But somehow I'm in the business all of a sudden, and now what do I
right.
do?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what's also was attracted us to Alair was that there's a lot of backup. For instance, we have our own controller assigned to us, so we don't actually have a controller on staff. We have a controller with Alair, and we pay that controller for the time we use them. So it's call it fractional ownership in some respects. And so we only pay for what we use. So instead of paying a controller, whatever, 70, 60, 80, $90,000 a year, we just pay for the time that we use, which is different. So that's kind of the economies of scale too with being in the franchise system.
Yeah, much more efficient that way. Like you said, you don't have to bring on, people to fill certain roles. You have all that back office support
Right.
from Alair.
Correct. A lot of it.
And they have, I mean, it's a well-run operation. It sounds like that you meet with, your corporate leadership, what, quarterly or every month, is it?
So there are several meetings. Every year there's an annual general meeting. Um, Last year was in California and San Diego. Next year it's going to be, for instance, in Montreal. They kind of move it back and forth between the States and Canada since they're a Canadian-based company.
Okay.
Um, we do regional meetings. And I should also add that in addition to being a partner in the Alair Homes Decatur, my brother Peter and I are also the regional partners for North Georgia. So as a regional partner, it's to help support our existing partners where we have them in Atlanta, Decatur, and Marietta, always looking for more, and help support them with relationships, market partners who we refer to, for instance, as architects and designers. So getting this out in the community, getting the Alair name out in the community as well. So as a regional partner, that's another one of the hats I wear within.
I really like that model because it seems like everyone's success begets everyone else's success. You're not really competing with other franchise locations. You're there to support them and just make everyone more successful.
That's right. And so I'm sorry. Let me get back to the meetings as well. And so the annual general meeting, we hold a partners meeting with our North Georgia partners every month as well, 2.5 hours every month to catch up on things we're working on collectively. And you're right. It's a collective. We're in cooperation together. We're not in competition. We're all here to support each other. We recently just had an all Georgia region, we call the regional event, which brought in the North Georgia region and the South Georgia region. So we brought all these offices together. We had topics such as, talking about safety. We had topics, we brought in a TEDx speaker as well. That was really interesting. We did a project review. But it's all about the culture and bringing folks together. There were some architects and designers who joined us. We had great sponsors who joined us and, people we work with and strengthening relationships, working together.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So, and you guys, you put together that regional meeting and you set up the lineup of speakers,
Yes,
whoever can contribute to maybe topics on education or
correct.
vendor
Exactly right.
management, yeah, all that.
Absolutely. That's part of the role of the regional partner as well.
Okay, okay. And then
And
you
I will
have
say one thing I'll add, Bob, what was really interesting. We had an architect and designer who were just starting to work with in one of our offices, and they haven't done a project with us yet, but they came to this event and they were blown away. Like, wow, how do I get to work with a group like this? Is really fascinating. And I want to know more. I really
right.
want to know more. I haven't seen this with any other kind of home builder or remodeler
Uh-huh.
at this
And
level.
now when it comes to your remodeling services, design build services, can each location, could each franchise do things a little differently, or do you have pretty much a set process for sales, design, project management, rolling out the whole thing?
So yeah, one thing with Alair, there are two agreements. There's a project planning agreement, and then there's a construction agreement. So let's think of the project planning agreement as kind of the time to be dating, but at the same time, you're getting paid for your work. I think our industry is fraught with people who give out free estimates,
Yeah,
and what's really the value of free?
right.
With our system in project planning, we're going to go through the scope, the design, the selections. We're going to show you transparently all the selections. For instance, Bob, you came to me and said, I'm not sure if I want custom cabinets or semi-custom cabinets in my kitchen. All right, well, let me get you a quote for both and show them to you and give you that decision. I'm not sure what kind of countertop, but let us help guide you. And we're always going to bring in a designer to help with the selections. We're going to bring in an architect with the design. It's all part of the team, but it's 100% transparency. It doesn't mean we're going to catch everything. This is not construction, still not perfect, but we're
Right.
going to try to take as much risk out of it as possible for the
Yeah,
client.
and so the customer can go through this whole design process with you, picking, this selection, that selection, cabinets, counters,
Hmm.
flooring, whatever. Really kind of they're customizing everything. And then at the end of that design agreement, then that's when they decide whether they're gonna go forth with the construction agreement as well. Typically,
That
most do, I would think.
that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. And also, by being this design build mode, it also gives us control over the cost. The worst thing is someone says, "Well, I have a budget of 300,000, and you've designed them a $500,000 solution." That doesn't work. So we can
Right,
let us control the selections of, client says, "Well, I really love this tile." Well, that tile is not a $10 square foot tile; it's an $80 square foot tile. That's going to have an impact on your budget, or these countertops, or these cabinets, or whatever the item is. So let us help control the budget. And if we
right.
can't control the budget, then what have we done? We haven't been successful. We haven't controlled it.
Right. And do you have like a portal where a customer can go and pick all those selections where it just makes it
Yeah,
super
we sure do.
streamlined, real
Yeah, we
easy?
have a portal, and that's part of the transparency where the selections are uploaded and they get to review them and approve them. So there is no question of like, I didn't realize I was getting these windows. I thought I was getting something else. No, we gave you the selection for you to review and approve. And it wasn't just like windows. It was a
Right.
Pella window architectural series, for instance. Okay, and here's what you're getting. Here's the price that you're approving.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's just it seems way more efficient, way more streamlined, as opposed to someone that's not a part of that, I guess, corporate franchise structure where you've got all that built out. Everything is done for you, like you said. It's a turnkey operation, and you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to handhold a client and say, "Well, let's go look at this selections and let's go look at
Yeah,
cabinets." And
and I think people really appreciate the transparency that's provided in this the way we do it. And if, like I said, you have these opportunities to make these selections and approve and review them, so it's not just a guess. And I've been a guest speaker at many home shows, and we really talk about the value of planning. For most people, your home is your biggest asset. And at some point, why would you not want to put the time and money into, planning? You're doing a several $100,000 project, and put the time into planning. We talked about the free estimate and the value of free, and the builder comes out and said, "I didn't realize I was getting a shop built window." Well, it just said windows. I thought I was getting an aluminum clad window. I
right,
didn't realize I was getting bats. I thought I was getting spray foam. So we're going to hash all this out in the planning phase.
yeah,
So there are no
absolutely.
surprises.
So it seems like your planning is way more comprehensive. I mean, is that why you charge for that agreement separately? I just like you had mentioned
Yeah,
earlier, I see so
exactly.
many builders that do that for free,
I would
and
ask the
it's a lot
question,
of time.
who wants to go to work for free? That's
Yeah,
called being a volunteer, which is great. I'm not knocking volunteering. I do a lot of it myself as well. And volunteering is important. But there are many people, what they'll do is they will spend, weeks and weeks and weeks and maybe even months. And then the client says, Dave, I'm going to go somewhere else. So you
Yeah.
have literally spent dozens and dozens and dozens of hours of your time where you could be working on something else. And the client walked away. At least if they walk away in this time, you should have been compensated for your time. And
Right.
that's really what it's all about. If you're not getting compensated and paid, what's the point of working? There's
Yeah.
no point. And we're very
Absolutely.
transparent on the rates, and everything else is all up front. And the clients have all that information before we can start what we're
Okay.
charging. The client will get, for instance, in a construction, a bucket of hours for the project manager. We're only going to bill against the time that we use. So let's say there's 150 hours and we only use 120. You're only being charged for 120 hours.
Okay.
Conversely, if more time is needed, we're going to request more time from the client to approve, ask them to approve. It's like, you've kind of increased scope and we're going to need an extra 20 hours for you to approve. So we have that in the bank to use. And the same way, it goes
Right.
the same way during the construction process as well for the
Yeah.
management time.
I like that structure too, because it really serves both parties. I mean, if things went super easy, the client's protected by not using those hours. And then on the other side, if you've got a client that seems, is super needy and hand holding and, just way more time involved, well, they're
Just
still getting
pause for a
billed for
second there,
that.
Bob. Yeah. Yeah. And that's really the key, right? You're only getting charged for what you used. And that makes it, once again, that's part of the transparency. People record their time and it goes in the portal. Like I said, there is a client portal. They can go and check anytime where their project is, whether it's schedule, budget, selections. So that's all there for them to use.
Oh yeah, that makes it. Yeah, I can see why clients would want to do that. Then there's, like you said, there's so much transparency. They don't have to bug you, get you on the phone every time. They can check their project at any point in time just by
And
logging in.
Bob, it makes it easier to have the conversations about things. You're not hiding anything. Everything's up front for them to review. And if you don't, we've also kind of used the expression, you get to bait your own hook in terms of
Uh-huh.
what you want and what's important to you. But also we're here to guide you. But I will say what's really important is also bringing in a designer and an architect in this process. And we work with multiple architects and designers trying to find the right designer, right architect for whatever the project is. And those relationships are really, really important for us. We call them market partners. And
Yeah.
we try to share stuff back and forth. We're going to send you stuff, you send us stuff. The best job is if, Bob, you're an architect and you say, hey, Dave, I have a project I'd like to share with you. I think you'd be a good fit for it. Conversely, we have a job we'd like to share with you. Those are
Uh-huh.
better than running 100 leads and spending your time. The price of going on a sales call is expensive if it's the wrong client.
Right.
It's
Right.
much better to have, clients who architects want to send to us and that we feel good sending to them. It's a much
Yeah.
better situation.
Yeah.
Better
Absolutely.
focus of time.
Is that a local network that you build within your community, or is that something that comes with the Alair Homes model as well, where they
It,
have
it's
people on staff that
it's
can help
all
with that?
it's local, but it's not uncommon for an Alair office to say, hey, I have a client I work with, let's say in the Carolinas, they're moving to Atlanta, and they're like, I want to send you their name as an opportunity to talk to. Vice versa, we send stuff to other offices as well, or other designers who might be moving to an area. It's like, so we share that, but we spend a lot of time cultivating, developing those relationships locally.
Okay.
That's really what it requires, and the offices that do a good job of that have a lot of their projects coming to them just through referrals. That's a much better place to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Referral marketing. I always tell people it's the best marketing you can possibly do. It's those close at 90 to
Yeah,
100%
I mean,
typically.
I know from my days in RA years ago, dating myself, I know they're a great organization, but it was always about, how many leads do you need? Putting things in the funnel and being a numbers game. I don't really think it is a numbers game. I think it is more about the quality of what you're getting, and how do we get more quality and not just numbers. Numbers don't mean anything if it's just garbage. You have
Right.
100 leads and only 5 of them are good. That was took a lot of money to disqualify 95 people when you
Yeah.
really rather focus on the 4 or 5 that are really decent that, your market partner sent you.
Right.
That's where the
Right.
money is.
Absolutely. What all kinds of services do you offer, Dave? Is it, I know it's mainly residential now as opposed to your commercial background, but are you doing, the smaller kitchen and bath stuff, or is it just more full home remodels, design build type projects?
Yeah, great question. It actually runs the gamut. Some Alair offices actually do commercial work. In our local office, we don't, but there is an opportunity for people who want to. Everything from a kitchen and bath remodel to a whole house remodel. I just finished recently a $2 million plus whole house renovation, a lot of kitchen and bath renovation work, a lot of additions. What's also becoming very popular now are the accessory dwelling units. The ADUs are becoming extremely popular, especially as more people want to work from home.
Mhm.
Perhaps more people plan to stay longer in their homes and have a place for family, caretakers. I know some of the zoning is changing, but we do a lot of ADUs as well. And also, depending where different Alair offices are, some places there's more opportunity for new builds depending on land. A little more challenging here in Metro Atlanta, not as many opportunities for the whole house, but it happens. It happens from time to time. But
Okay.
some like we call the Lake Country up in outside Toronto, what they call the cottages. These really beautiful. It's not what we would refer to as a cottage. They're really glamorous and beautiful. Just depends where your location.
Right,
Just depends on
right.
location.
But if you have a client that has land, you'll do a custom build from foundation
Absolutely,
up, right? Okay, it's part of
absolutely, for sure. Those are nice. And we're about to actually the Decatur office is about to start and the planning phase on one of those right now. A new
okay,
cu- a new custom home. So yes, it does happen. There's a lot.
okay.
It's like I
What's
said,
what's one of the
depends on
favorite
location
projects that you've worked
for
on
sure.
lately that just really stood out to you in terms of design, form, function? A project that you've really felt like you guys were able to sink your passion into and bring that dream to life for your customer as well.
Yeah, and I think that once again that gets back to putting together also the team, having the
Mhm.
great designer, having the great architect, people you can work with, people who respect each other,
Yeah.
and we can share the vision. It's not about ego. It's not about the ego of, oh, I want to make sure this looks, this is my vision. It's what is the client's vision and how can we help guide you the best? And we have to be in some respect the break when once again people say, I really want to do this, this, and this. And like we said earlier, well, this is going to kind of go outside of your budget. If you're okay with that, just to let you know, this is going to push. So there is no surprise. Well, you said it was going to be a 350 project. Now it's 450. Yes. And we talked about, all these other selections and all these other changes. And that's really not uncommon too, right? Where people come to you with a budget and they don't always give you the whole number. They're holding something back. And as you're building some trust and bond and rapport, or even once we get through planning and we're in the project, they said, I really think I want to add maybe some more of that outdoor living space we cut out earlier. I'm really enjoying how this is going.
Uh-huh.
Things get added back as
Yeah.
budgets do expand. I think our transparency is really important so people know exactly where their money's going.
Right, right. Yeah, I think that transparency really makes a difference because they're making those decisions all throughout the process. Like you said, there's no surprises. They make a selection, they change it, then you immediately are able to update that in the project, and they can see that the impact it has on that bottom line number, and does that work for them or not, or do they need to?
Yeah, that's right. And something we're going to do is, we're going to write a scope for every line item as well, whether it's drywall, framing, trim, cabinets, countertops. There's going to be a scope that spells out what the work is. So not only are we clear on the client's clear, but also our trade partners are clear as well. And this is what we're asking you to quote on. There is no. I thought you wanted, quartz. No, no, we wanted stone. We wanted this certain granite. It wasn't. So we're all part of that transparency. Everyone's looking at the same information.
Yeah. Do your vendor partners, do they have access to that project management system as well? So everything is just right there for them?
It's not for the suppliers, but we
Okay.
can send them information and about the project. So they get lots of information from us. They'll get the scopes of work that we will email them. So that it's not just a quick email. Hey, I want you to get X, Y, Z. You're gonna get a printed out scope of work. This is exactly what we're looking for. You can get reminders on the project calendar as things are coming up. So there are other ways that we can connect with them as well to keep
Okay.
them up to date on the project,
Okay.
both in planning and in construction as well.
Right. I imagine your operation just really runs like a well-oiled machine, very efficient, very effective. Have there been challenges though as well, a particular project or anything that just, out of the norm that usually doesn't run, as efficient as possible?
Yeah, so I would say nothing is perfect.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says, and we never claim to be perfect. And yeah, there are challenges. I know during COVID was really tough. It was very challenging as prices kept rolling in and rolling in. It seemed like every 5 minutes there was a new quote or a new price or a new update. That was a very, very challenging time for our company. We got through it. I think that was really one of the toughest times is just prices just kept racing ahead and trying to keep up. And there really wasn't a great playbook for how to manage it as things were going fast and furious. I mean, my quote's good for it's good for a week. And you
Right.
might be doing this project, 8, 10 weeks from now, and you're just trying to keep up with all that stuff. So that was a challenge. But what is good about kind of the Alair network is that we all work together, literally all 105 offices. Everyone's a resource for each other. If you're not sure of something, there's always someone to reach out to, someone who's done it, someone who has a question. Hey, I'm doing this type of Has anyone done, for instance, a car lift? Put it out to the alert. Oh yeah, I've done, I did a car lift and, here's a great resource for you to deal with. So you're never on your own. So
Right.
there's a weekly all company mastermind call. There's a topic. There are planning calls. There are admin support calls. Just a lot of resources for folks to use
Right.
within the network. That's part of what you're getting is being part of the franchise.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of value in that. Like you said, you've got an expert for design or any kind of aspect of construction management, probably legal,
Yep.
financial, just questions you can
Yes.
ask.
Yeah, and that's like I said, if you have a question, put it out there. Whether it's on the all company mastermind call, or whether you want to put a question out on Teams. There's someone. There's support staff within Alair too. You can reach out to as well to help you. So, like I said, you're never adrift. There's always someone who can give you some assistance.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Do you most of the Alair Homes franchises operate the same way, or do you find that there's regional differences where you can kind of do things a little bit
Yeah,
your own way, maybe?
great question. So originally, Alair really wanted for the project manager would take the job from planning to construction. That's a really difficult person to find. We'll call that a unicorn. Some
Yeah.
offices do it that way. For example, in the Decatur office, we used to do it that way, but now we brought in a planning project manager. We have 2 planning PMs, and their job is just to work on the planning phase of the project. We have found that to be more efficient, and many of the other offices have kind of gravitated that way as well. It just Someone might be really good at planning, but not so much in building, or I'm a really great builder, but planning is a different animal unto itself. So Alair has given that, leeway and change over the years. And like I said, I think many offices are doing that. I will say within any system, if you don't follow the process, our Canadian friends call it process. If you don't follow the process, it is easy to get off track. And there are, and that does happen. Sometimes there are no shortcuts, we say, to success. Follow it and you have a more relatively predictable outcome. I did want to talk a minute. Can we jump back just to the planning for a moment
Yeah,
and
yeah.
kind of an analogy and why should I pay for planning?
Mhm.
So analogous to whether you went to a doctor and the doctor said, I think you need surgery, but they're not going to just run you into the operating room and cut you open. They're going to do testing and planning, right?
Right.
Or you have a court case, there's going to be discovery. And we're going to discover before we actually run into the courthouse and have our trial. That's really what planning is. And I think that helps maybe to explain it a little bit better. You just can't go and cut someone open and hope for good luck that you know what you have, right? So you've done the
Right.
planning, you've done the testing. Same thing when you walk into a house and you're reviewing the house and you're thinking, let's look at some of these conditions that are here, whether it's a renovation or whether it's new construction. There are always going to be challenges we're going to be dealing with, but the more we can find out up front, and that's part of planning, and that's what paying for, you're going to save money in the long run. You're going to pay someone for the plans, but
Right.
once again, why pay someone for plans that you had a 350 budget and they gave you a $500,000 solution? You've just wasted time and money, and you're no closer. And the best one I like too, Bob. People say, "Well, if I wait till next year, will it be cheaper?" The answer is no, no, and no.
Yeah,
Um,
never.
it's every year. It's always things always get more expensive the next year. That's just the cost of doing business. It's just things
Yeah.
just go up. So if people want to wait, best time to build is when you want to do it. That's really
R
what it comes down to.
right, right.
Definitely.
Do you help people try to manage their budgets in terms of keeping them on track to really not invest too much based on what they're going to get back out of that renovation? Because we all know that, all renovations are not created equal. Some are going to,
That's
give you
correct.
more back in equity. Do you try to help
Absolutely.
guide customers in that regard too, that probably aren't really aware of that?
Yeah, and I think we're gonna, look what the value of your home is. How much are you putting into your home? What's it worth? And there's also been a move, I think, recently though, Bob, for people who are like, I'm gonna stay in my home longer and I want to enjoy it, not so
Uh-huh.
much as necessarily my ROI, return on investment. I'm like, I'm gonna be here another 15 years. I really want to enjoy it. I don't care if I'm the most expensive house on the street because I'm gonna be here and I want what I want. And so we're seeing that move. We're seeing a lot of move of people spending money on things they want to enjoy, such as outdoor living. Seeing a ton of outdoor living projects, outdoor cabinetry, cookouts where people want to have friends over just to socialize and hang out, whether it's, like I said, barbecues, fire pits,
Yeah.
outdoor TVs, seeing a lot of that move. People want to stay in their homes. They really want to enjoy them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think probably the high interest rates, mortgage rates obviously are keeping people in, but
Yeah.
there's
And we
definitely
do
that
have
trend.
I mean, we do have a housing crisis in our country. Not enough starter homes for folks. And
Uh-huh.
so, people can't really get started with their lives. They have nothing to move into. But like I said, a lot of folks we work with are just they really enjoy their neighborhood, they enjoy their community, they enjoy their friends, and they want to make this a place they can really stay and enjoy for many many years to come. That's what their investment's all about. So that's yeah, we do have those conversations though for sure.
Yeah, I'm going through that right now. I want to do some updating, some remodeling in my own home that I'm GCing myself. And
Hmm.
part of it I'm struggling with is there's not a lot of value to come back with some of this stuff because in my neighborhood they scrape a house and they build
Mm,
a new one
yeah,
instead. So
right.
how much do you really put into it? And then, but I, talking with you and I was talking with someone else that had that same concept. It's for you to enjoy. If you want to enjoy it, then it doesn't
Enjoy
matter
it.
what you put into it. That you're doing it for you.
I think we're getting to an inflection point now with mortgage rates dropping, getting close to six, getting it bounced around a little bit. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see people coming back into the market. I know in my community, I've seen a lot more for sale signs recently,
Okay.
and I've been on a few webinars where they're talking about the pre-COVID listings are now starting to come back up. We're starting to see people were kind of that golden handcuffs. I had that 3 to 4% mortgage rate. Why do I want to leave that? But at some point, people are going to move. I mean, at some
Yeah.
point, their house may not work for them, or for whatever reason they're going to move. So listings are coming back up, and I think we'll be interested to see where that goes within our economy. It's such a big driver of everything we do for
Absolutely.
sure.
I was reading an article a couple weeks ago that said mostly consumer sentiment is down right now in terms of wanting to start a remodel project.
Mhm.
It's about 62% of people saying, they're not really comfortable starting a project right now. Are you seeing that kind of slowdown as well?
Yeah, I think there is some hesitancy right now. I think people want to figure out what's really going on with tariffs, trade policy,
Yeah.
jobs. There's been so much happening in the last 8 months since the new administration came in that there is a little bit of unevenness and unsteadiness in our footing right now. For people to want to make a big decision of hundreds of thousands of dollars, they want to feel good about their job, about the economy going forwards. That sentiment is definitely out there. Depends maybe sometimes which part of town. I think people who have money probably feel okay, and if they feel good about their jobs, they'll go ahead. But if you don't, you're probably gonna hit the pause button or wait till it feels a little steadier and a little more sure around them.
Yeah.
So I think, and I've read a lot of those articles too in the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Studies, and people just want to know what's really. I mean, next month we have the big Supreme Court hearing on tariffs, which may be wiped out or they may not. They may stay, and that has an impact. And people they're getting flooded with information, and that can be a little unnerving as well. Trying to
Yeah.
decipher what's real and what's not.
Right, right. There's a lot of information out there and you just don't know, there's a little anxiety building. Is the stock market going to keep going up? Are we,
Right.
getting into bubble territory? What is going to happen with rates? Are we going to come down, but it's going to be smaller increments? It's going to take
Well,
forever to really get there.
this economy has taken hits before. We've always come back. I think of the housing crisis of 2008. Those of us who are old enough, old enough to remember.
Yeah,
That wasn't a whole lot of fun. The COVID pandemic, that wasn't fun. But we're a pretty resilient country and a pretty resilient economy, and nothing goes up forever. Nothing goes down forever.
right.
I think we're probably in a spot of kind of stasis right now, from what I've been reading and hearing. It's just not great, not bad. We're just kind of bouncing along. Nothing awesome, nothing terrible. You know,
Right.
as we say, the stock market's not the economy, and the economy is not the stock market. But if people look at their 401ks, they probably feel okay today, looking at their balances and where they're at, even though they may not need it today or tomorrow. But it's a psychological good feeling.
Right. Is there anything that you are doing with Alair Homes Decatur or all the franchise are doing with Alair Homes that to try to position yourself for the future and slow down possibly, or maybe, ticking back up? Is there anything you guys are doing to
Yeah, I mean,
pre-position yourself?
what's nice the way the systems work. Most offices are not really personnel heavy. For instance, when Peter and I had Renewal Design Build, I think we had at one point 22 or 23 employees, because we had our own designers, our own architects, project
Mhm.
managers. When we made the switch to Alair, I think we went down to 7 or 8. No more architects or designers. We outsourced all that work. We outsourced our financial work. So you can be a little more lean. You can, in fact, quite a bit leaner than
Yeah.
we were before. So I think that helps. And the sad reality is, if there's no work, there's no work. But I think we're always trying to be out in the community. We'll do a lot of things, have our name out there. There's something called Alair Cares, doing projects out in the community. For instance, every year we do something at our local shelter where we feed folks a Thanksgiving meal the day before Thanksgiving. We're doing that, I think, for almost not. We actually started when we were Renewal. We continued it on with Alair. Provide a Thanksgiving meal to folks the day before Thanksgiving. We just did a project with Georgia Tech at the West Atlanta Watershed Alliance, where we helped build an outdoor classroom in conjunction with one of our partners is a adjunct professor at Georgia Tech. So we put together an outdoor learning building that we all participated in. I mean, just giving back. I'm also a member of NARI as well.
Okay.
And when I was president, we brought in the NARI Cares element to our chapter, and we've done a few projects. We're about to break ground on one for a local animal shelter here in a few weeks as well. So I think for people to see you're out in the community, you're doing good. And what's exciting is people love doing these projects. It's fun, and we're blessed that we can give back to our communities and really help out. It's a big deal. It's a passion for me. It's part of Alair culture as well as giving back. Alair across the spectrum has given thousands of hours and hundreds of thousands of dollars back to their communities around.
This is part of the core values and integrity of the company, right? Just kind of trickles
Absolutely,
down to every
it's huge.
franchise.
It does feel good. I mean, I know psychologically, I feel so great when I can go and help an organization, to go down to a shelter the day before Thanksgiving and people say, wow, you're down here helping us. I can't believe it. I'm like, we're glad to do it. And we bring them a clean pair of socks and a new wool hat for wintertime. And they're just so appreciative. And you realize a lot of what we do by helping people are their first world problems. Remodeling a kitchen is a first world problem. It's a nice to have, right? It's not
Yeah.
a necessity.
Yep.
And the fact that we're in a position and blessed that we can give something back to our communities and help out, it feels really good. You're right. It's a core value, and it's great when everyone just jumps in, and we all feel so great when a project's done.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like the more you give back, in karmic fashion, the more that will come back to you in abundance as well. And that's
Yeah,
not why you do it, but just doing the right thing, paying it forward. It's always going to have good
you
results.
put good out in the world. Most of the time, good will come back to you. But we do it because we want to do it, not because we're expecting anything in return. We do it
Yeah.
because we care, and it feels really important to help
Yeah.
out.
And
And
you
that's what
can do it too.
I
Not
love.
everyone's that fortunate.
Fun to do.
Are you doing anything in terms of working with trade schools or trying to get more of youth involved in the trades? Anything that you guys are doing in that
I
regard?
myself we're doing more of that through our local NARI chapter. I chair the Skills USA committee for our local Atlanta chapter, and every year Skills USA comes to Atlanta for their finals, their national competition. So we come down there and we help judge and evaluate the work of the young folks. really, really inspiring. Watched them this year, and stuff they had to do was framing. I'm trying to think: framing, roofing, electrical, plumbing, masonry. And these are kids. Some are teenagers, and some are post secondary at trade schools. And just to see them jumping in and the quality of the work for these young folks, young men and young women, it's great. Workforce development is a huge challenge for our country going forward.
Absolutely.
It's there has to be a mind shift within our communities for folks to understand not everyone needs to go to college. And I say that as a college graduate, but college isn't for everybody. And I think to get in front of young people and their parents when they're, 10, 11, 12 years old and say, have you thought about, pipe welding? Have you thought about electrical, plumbing, whatever it is? And the ability to kind of walk out of a training program and you're making good money right from the jump. And those aren't jobs we have to worry about AI outsourcing. No, AI is not coming into your house to run the wires or run the plumbing or run the ductwork.
Right.
So I think it's a national mind shift kind of going forward. So we do more of our trade stuff. We do a lot of trade appreciation, but in terms of trade development, it's such a big animal to tackle. It really needs to be at the tech boat, the school level, for folks to really put some beef into it.
Yeah.
Give the kids the opportunity, but we have to. It needs to be an ongoing conversation.
Yeah, it's got to be done at the highest levels of government, just really everyone talking about it, pushing it, making this an initiative that everyone's aware of. We can't just talk about it as remodelers and, one person at a time is not going to make a difference.
It's too big an animal for one group to tackle. Like I said, it has to be national, like I said, a national conversation. It has to be funded and the resources have to be there for our young people. And I was with a group of, Cub Scout kids last year, and we brought them down to local union hall where they do glassing, glazing, and painting. And these kids were 9, 10, 11 years old. And it was really cool as the parents were like, wow, this is amazing. And the kids made window frames, they helped put a storefront together, and the parents are like, this is incredible. And the kids were having a great time because they got to use power tools.
Yeah.
So they thought that was really fun, something they're not normally doing. And for the parents, it was eye-opening. Wow, a great training facility. This is something to, at least now I'm aware of it. And before, if you're coming to kids when they're 17, 18 years old, it's too late. It's most likely too late. You gotta get that spark a little bit earlier on.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing you mentioned, AI, coming into our field.
Yeah.
How are you adapting to that? Are you using AI a lot or trying to be an early adopter and for design or for,
Personally, I'm a later adopter to AI.
Okay.
Using a little bit of chat to help me with my writing.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of offices use it for scope writing to help them. It speeds things up. We are seeing AI coming to the fore. We're getting leads now through AI. AI, you ask, well, I need to find a local contractor for a whole house renovation. And that's now coming. We're hearing from more offices. Yeah, I found you through chat, or I found you, I did a chat search. Yep. I found you that way. So it's definitely coming to the fore. I know Alair in general is planning to really utilize it as we go into the next few years. There are plans in the future to really jump into AI and how we're going to utilize it.
It's just, I think
it's in its infancy. It's really in its infancy right now.
It really is. Yeah.
A lot of unknowns.
So many use cases, from writing content to now, using it for operations or writing your SOPs, making sure that you're staying, streamlined and systematized.
And also reading it after you put something in chat to know it's the right stuff. I mean, just because it's printed on your screen doesn't mean it's always correct.
Right.
Not to have 100% trust in the computers and the robots, because at some point there is, critical thinking. We can never lose our critical thinking element.
Yeah, absolutely. And just because AI spits out an answer doesn't mean it's true. Doesn't mean it's right.
Doesn't mean it's true. I don't know. There was a case recently. It was one of the big law firms used AI to write one of their briefs, and it cited cases that didn't exist.
Right. Yeah.
So
I heard that.
They were pretty embarrassed. Were pretty embarrassed by that.
It's just pulling information from the internet, whether that information is true, verified or not, who knows?
Correct. That's right.
Yeah, you have to be careful with that.
Yes, for sure.
Well, what's on the horizon for Alair Homes Decatur? What do you guys? What's next for you guys to close out this year, and what are you looking forward to next year?
I mean, I think we're looking, very fortunate. We have a nice book of work here in Decatur. We have a wonderful partner in Heather Schuster, as I said, who, Peter and I sold our majority share to. And it's kind of nice being a minority partner after all these years. And she's doing an excellent job running it. She has a lot of good stuff going on, a nice mix of projects, and a really strong book going next year, which is nice to say in this economy that she can feel, confident. Like, I have a lot of good stuff in the pipe. Her pipeline is really, really strong. And I think a lot of that success also is local reputation, but also the culture. Without a good team culture, you have nothing. I don't care what your systems and processes are. If your culture stinks, you don't have anything. You don't have a company rolling. If people are at each other's throats, or no one really understands what the purpose of your business is, you got nothing.
Yeah.
And that's always been important to us as well. Culture has been huge, and it's important across Alair as well. Like I said, each office is individually
Yeah,
run.
absolutely.
So how people
I
set
just
their
did
culture
a Nary talk
is kind of a big deal.
on company culture, and it's something that we really focus on as well. It starts at the top, and like you said, if you don't have company culture, if you don't have a culture, you don't really have a company. It's just a bunch of people checking in and doing work, and that's not really a company. That's not the work family that you're striving for.
And people know fake culture from real culture,
Yeah,
right? It's not
absolutely.
hard to find out this is a bunch of BS and this doesn't really matter, or you just platitudes or whatever, and no one really lives it. You have to live it. You have to live
Yep.
it, and you have to be accountable to it. The culture and your values, what you hire for, what you fire for, are all really, really important to make sure
Yeah.
that, stories of someone who worked at a company who wasn't the right fit, and when that person was let go, everyone's like, oh, thank God. We're so glad they just didn't fit in here. They didn't work. And
Right.
everyone's like, yes, it's a sigh of relief. Everyone's had employees
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Yep.
No one's immune to it.
No, that can undermine the whole team, if you just don't have that right fit.
It's
It
hugely
really
important.
affects everyone, and you kind of have that cancer sort of growing in your organization,
Yes,
and you don't even know it. And it's slow,
correct.
festering, but eventually it's undermining
Poisoning the
everything you're working
well.
toward.
Yeah, just the rot. And it touches everything. Before you know it, it's a mess.
Yeah,
No good.
absolutely. Well, David, as we wind down here, any final parting advice that you could share with other
Yeah,
builders
I
out there?
really, really encourage people. I think no matter what stage you're at in your business, think about where you want to go, where you want to be, and how you're going to get there. Think about if exit strategy is, you might be in your 40s and you want to get out of this business in your 50s, or whatever age you're at, and think, what does that look like? Who are the people I surround myself with? And what's my plan going forward? Because it takes time. I'll also say, and then please don't work for free. Charge people for your time. Charge people for planning. Don't be a volunteer. Don't spend endless hours doing something that you're never going to get. If the client walks away, you get nothing in return. It's not, as I say, hope is not a strategy.
Right.
Planning, and get paid fair, get compensated fairly for your time. So those
Yeah.
be my parting words, Bob.
I love it. I love it. Some great advice. Well, David, really enjoyed having you on the show today.
Yeah, it
Some
was a lot of fun.
really great insights. Thanks for sharing the Alair Homes model. I think that is a very interesting model, and there's a lot of benefits to it that more builders, more remodelers probably should start taking a look at, because it's that turnkey operation where almost everything's in place for you already. That support network's there. Quite a neat model there. So I'm glad I got to learn more about Alair Homes and how you guys are doing things down there in Decatur,
Yeah,
Georgia as well.
glad to share it with you. My pleasure.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to having you back on this show. For everyone else here, tuning in, turning on to the Home Remodeler Toolbox Podcast, thanks for listening in, and we'll catch you on the next show.
Hey, if you liked our podcast, join the remodeling community and hit subscribe. We would love to hear from you, so be sure to share your thoughts on what you might want to hear about in future episodes. If you're ready to take your business to the next level, visit homeremodellerseo.com and check out our services that can help build your foundation for success. Thanks for tuning in to the Home Remodeler Toolbox Podcast, and we'll see you on the next episode.